to move towards Bitcoin and what your new favorite passion. So, how did you end up going from someone working in risk and credit markets essentially
Okay.
to deciding that you wanted to like get out of the financial system or the industry, like as
Yeah.
it were, and then end up in Bitcoin as like your new passion project? Like, was Bitcoin there when you left? Did you leap to Bitcoin, or was there like
A
a
great
period
question.
in between?
Can I give you a long answer? So I
Totally.
graduated from university in 1988. I'm Canadian. I went to school in the US for 2 years, did a business degree, and then came back to Canada. My first job was working for Canada's largest financial institution, which is the Royal Bank of Canada. And Royal Bank of Canada in 1988, I was working directly for the CFO on special projects. Okay. We were going to do mergers and acquisitions. We were going to do capital allocation. We were going to do risk adjusted analysis for the profitability of our loan book. But one of the first projects that I worked on was the restructuring of our Latin American debt portfolio. And Royal Bank of Canada was like every single other money center bank in the world. It had made loans to Latin American countries in US dollars because of the petrodollar, the returns in petrodollars because of all the money that was coming out of the Middle East due to the increased oil prices. Petrodollars were being recycled into loans to third world countries. And amongst those, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina were large borrowers. Royal Bank of Canada had a portfolio of loans to these Latin American borrowers that were trading on average at 25 cents on the dollar because these loans had defaulted. Okay. These companies could not keep up with their US dollar interest obligations because of a strengthening US dollar. And at the end of the day, they all defaulted, trading at 25 cents on the dollar. Now, prior to this, I told you that banks only hold 5 cents on the dollar for loan losses, and these things had lost 75 cents on the dollar. Royal Bank of Canada was insolvent, Josh. I don't know how else to tell you that the global banking system was fucked. Fucked. Okay. Absolutely screwed. And nobody knew it because they didn't do math. They didn't do simple math. There's your first drinking game. Okay. You didn't do simple math. The Royal Bank of Canada was insolvent, and so were all New York money center banks. Very simply, if you only hold $5 of capital against your loans and they lose $75 of capital, man, you're in big trouble, right?
Yeah.
Well, listen to this. At the end of the day, I said, why do people have confidence putting their deposits in Royal Bank of Canada? The answer, like everywhere else around the world, oh, the banks are too big to fail. The government will bail them out, right? All true. Governments always bail out the system. How do they bail out the system? They print more money. In 1988, I said to myself, this is a fiat Ponzi. This whole fiat thing is a Ponzi. I didn't have the solution, and I didn't turn into a gold bug, and I certainly didn't go to the newspapers yelling that, the banking system was built on or held together with masking tape and baling wire, right? 25-year-old kid, he's going to, not going to work in the financial markets for long. But since 1988, I've been looking for a solution to the fiat Ponzi. I worked in hedge funds. I traded credit. We went through the crises that I mentioned in various ways. At the end of the day, I retired in 2016 because we had just completed the greatest trade I was ever part of coming out of the great financial crisis in 2008. And I put my hand up as a 50-something-year-old. I guess I could do the math. 2016, I was 53 years old. And I'm like, look, I'm done. First of all, I was beat up. We had done amazingly well, but the stress of trading credit is something you bring home night and day. There's no watching a movie at a theater when you're sitting on a bunch of hundreds of millions of bonds of a company you're worried about won't make it, okay? So you can't be watching a movie. It's going through your head. All you're thinking about is the bonds. Your wife looks at you and goes, well, how'd you like the movie? And you're like, Oh, it was great, wasn't it? You didn't even watch it. You were just thinking about this fucking position you're sitting on. Okay. So basically, your life gets absolutely wrapped up in these various trades you have on. And I said in 2016, my body can't keep doing this. And we had just completed an amazing trade and it was time to get out. And so I got out and I was going to be happily ever after, accepting the fate of the financial system to go and blow its head off. And then I found Bitcoin and I could not believe what a beautiful technological innovation this was. And I'll state this as truism. I thought Bitcoin was a Ponzi as well, based on everything I had read in the informed media. Oh, it's got to be a Ponzi. Well, then I peeled a layer of the onion. I went to someone showed me the blockchain in action at tradeblock.com. And I'm an engineer. And I looked at this and I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? And no one controls this. And I can transfer value anywhere in the world and it'll settle in 10 minutes. And it's math and code and it's near and dear to my heart. And it solves the Fiat Ponzi. Damn, I can't retire. I'm all in. I'm all friggin' in. And I did thousands of hours of homework on this. And I still am learning. And this is the most beautiful asymmetric trade and investment opportunity I've seen in over 30 years of managing risk. Okay? Wow. I'm not 100% certain that Bitcoin will succeed. What I am certain of is that fiat money will continue to debase. Fiat money will continue to debase because the debt spiral that we have built up, it is mathematically impossible to escape that debt spiral. Fiat money needs to be printed to solve the debt spiral. And that means fiat money will continue to debase. That I'm 100% certain of. What we need to do is we need to hedge ourselves against that. And till now, Bitcoin, I have not found a better solution than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the hedge to the fiat Ponzi that I've been looking for over 30 years.
So what makes you say that Bitcoin isn't a Ponzi scheme? Like, what was it that you looked at that made you say, okay, this thing is the solution to our problem?
Okay. So again, 21 million, math and code, scarcity. Look at the blockchain in action. Watch the hashes going across that are put into a block that is verified every 10 minutes, as well as all the prior blocks. Look into the beauty of a distributed ledger, decentralized, no control by any single party. Look into the ability, which I'm sure you've done, of me sending you Satoshis that settle in 10 minutes. Have you gone to your local bank lately and tried to send an international wire transfer? Dude, it's a friggin' joke, okay? It really is a friggin' joke. First of all, you'd think it was their money you were sending, not even your own money. And then they don't settle for 7 days. And if you get the address wrong, it's on you. There is absolutely no accountability in the legacy financial system. It is a fucking joke. Sorry to swear, but I got to call out the Ponzi where the Ponzi is. And Bitcoin is not the Ponzi. The Ponzi is the legacy financial system.
So we had someone just ask in the comments there, why do you think it is that people don't see the value? Because
some people do.
Yeah.
And by the way, right now, Bitcoin trading at 60,000 is probably 1/50th of where I think it should trade in today's dollars. If people did the math, it should be trading at over $2 million of Bitcoin today. So I'm not telling them it has to trade there, but if I do the math and I look at where I think the price will go, in today's dollars, it's worth over $2 million US per coin. Some people see value at 60,000. I'm just telling you, it's a rounding error compared to where it could go. And that's why it is the best asymmetric opportunity I've ever seen.
I mean, that was my next question is it still that opportunity? But yeah,
why?
Yeah.
Well, it can go up 50-fold from here.
It could.
That's horrible. Oh, geez, I really want to make 100-fold. Dude, come on. The US 10-year is yielding 1.6%. It'll take, at 1% compounded per year, it'll take, what is it, almost 50 years for you to double your money. 50 friggin' years in bonds, yet you have this trade that you can get 50 times your money. Not double your money, 50 times your money in today's dollars. What is it in 50 years? Gosh, it's probably, 200 times.
Yeah.
So just don't overthink it. Like, really, don't overthink this. This is an asymmetric trade that will define your career. Do I say put 100% of your money in it? No, I'm not advocating that. But if you own zero, you're a fool. You're an absolute fool. And by the way, if you own zero Bitcoin and you still own bonds, you're a fool squared, okay? You're a fool squared, because bonds are a contract to lose money in real terms. High yield bonds, the biggest joke I've ever seen. And I spent 30 years trading them. You're going to lend to companies on average at 4.6% prior to losing money on defaults, which is an expected cost of doing business in high yield bonds. And after you subtract inflation out, you're at negative returns. Good on you guys. You're superstars. Fucking fools. You're fucking fools. Okay? And I can't say it any other way. I'm getting sick of trying to say it politely. You are absolute morons. Come at me. I've spent 30 years in that market. You are wrong and you're an idiot. Sorry.
Don't worry, man. That's all right. I feel like I'm getting some therapy session here for you. But I like most of what you said. The things that I understand myself, I agree with. Like the rest of it, I'm believing you because you seem to know what you're talking about. But this idea that the fiat currency is a Ponzi scheme is one that, like, I've tried to explain to like parents or older folk, and they're just like, "Oh, it's just magic internet money," and I'm like, "You just don't get it, man." Like,
yeah, it's math and code. Okay, it's the base layer of language. What is the base layer of language? Mathematics. Okay, whether you speak English, French, Chinese, Spanish, Austrian, or is that even a language? German or whatever they speak, German, Swiss. You know mathematics. And I, as a Canadian or English-speaking Canadian, can speak mathematics to a Chinese person. We can't even communicate at the second level, which is our mother tongue, but we understand math. Math is the base layer of language. If you failed math, fuck, I'm sorry, you're an idiot. Mathematics makes the world work. And that's what Bitcoin is. Math and code. Full stop. Don't argue with math and don't argue with open source software, which is how Bitcoin is programmed. You're going to lose every single time, according to Jack Mallers, and I agree with him. Open source software will win every battle, and that's the beauty of Bitcoin.
Oh, you got me real inspired. I want to go out and buy some right now. I mean,
I would take some profits in your GameStop. That's found money for you, buddy. I mean, let me tell you, you got lucky. It's better to be lucky than good, but you got pretty lucky. And hats off to you. I will never take away someone who's made a profit on a investment or trade anyway. Remember, though, your best trade would have been to buy the bonds before you bought the stock.
Yeah,
that's all good. You'll learn. The world will learn. They're going to hate Foss because Foss is an anti-GameStopper. No. I could have loved GameStop. I would have just bought the bonds before I bought the stock. Very simple.
Thanks for making it all the way to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment for us in the comments below. Let me know what you thought and if you'd like to see more of this from the show. Thank you, and we'll see you again next time.